Welcome to Perspective with Kaylee Phillips, the safe space to get deep, break through, and find alignment. Here we prioritize wholehearted self-love, passion-driven careers, and living your absolute best life. You're here for a reason, so jump into the good energy, put your rose-colored glasses on, and tune in for massive impact and growth. I'm your host, KP, ready to release perfect and welcome perspective. Open. The floor is open for you guys. I am here for you today. If you want to catch the replay from yesterday, you can do so by going over to the podcast. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk with you guys today. Yesterday, we talked all about mindset, manifestation, internal alignment. I gave you guys some guidance for how to manifest, how to embody the highest version of yourself internally, and it was a really great workshop for the inside scoop of alignment. And now today we're going to talk about the external. So that video of me talking about where I went to college really blew up, and how I dropped out of college, and I was being sarcastic. It was a joke when I said I'm in, what did I say, 100K debt. I was joking. That was so sarcastic. I actually don't have any debt from college. I just dropped out before I accumulated any debt, and I started my business, and that's what this is. This is my business. I posted that on my business account. It was completely sarcastic. And while college is great for some people love college, some people are in love with their career that requires a degree. There are careers out there that do require a degree, but if you're starting your own business, you don't need a degree, especially with all the things that are possible at your own fingertips here. You really don't need a degree for everything. So that's why I left school, and that's why I made that reel sarcastically, because or not reel, TikTok, reel on Instagram. Hi, Instagram. That's why I was making that joke. So what we're talking about today is the business alignment. Again, you can ask any questions by leaving a comment here, and I will answer them here. If I don't get to answer it, I'll go back through and maybe add them into the podcast. So please go ahead and download the podcast at my profile. I actually don't know where my profile is. I think it's up here, maybe over here. I don't know. But the podcast is called Perspective with KP. It's an incredible podcast. If you want to go download the event from yesterday. Yesterday was 222, which is why we're doing this event in the first place. It's the necklace that I'm wearing. So if you want to go and download that replay from yesterday, you can tune in. And then, of course, we're here today to talk about your business alignment. So hello, everyone who's tuning into the replay on the podcast. I hope you're having an amazing day whenever you're listening. This could be months later if you're binging the podcast. So I'm really happy that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about external alignment. So yesterday, we wrapped up we were talking about setting goals. We were talking about micro and macro goals. And then I gave you guys a journal prompt for gratitude and reflection. Right? Because it's really important for us to be in tune with what we're grateful for, so that we're putting ourselves in the mindset of, I am happy with my life, right? If we're putting ourselves in the mindset of, I'm disappointed with my life right now, I'm unsatisfied with my life, then that's the mindset we're embodying each day. And then that's what we're leading with. That's the energy we're leading with. And where your energy goes, that's where we flow. So as you're practicing gratitude each day, you're adding in elements of, and I'm satisfied with my life, and I'm at peace with my life, so that each day, hi people joining on Instagram. Oh my God, TikTok is so overwhelming. There's so many buttons and stuff. And then Instagram is so simple and clean. I can clearly see someone joining. Over here on TikTok, there's so much going on, and like, it's a lot, but I just have to keep focus on the topic. TikTok is so much. Thank you all so much for joining, though. I'm really grateful for all of you. So yeah, we're talking about gratitude yesterday. We were talking about creating the energy that you want to embody. So if you're imagining your dream life, and you're imagining this next step for you, where you have all this money, you have this perfect job, you have all these amazing opportunities, so that's what you're envisioning over there. And then each day in your current life, you're saying, and I'm unsatisfied, and I'm not grateful, and this isn't enough for me, and today was an awful day. You're not really creating the energy that you want to attract. You're not creating that energy you want to put yourself in. So then this is just out of balance. And like we talked about yesterday, clear, simple science: energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy is, and you have to embody it. You have to step into that energy, but it can't be created or destroyed, right? So, hi everyone joining on TikTok. Hi. You can ask any questions that you have in the comments. So energy can't be created or destroyed. So as you're stepping into energy each day, you want to step into the energy that you want to attract. So if you're practicing that gratitude, practicing that reflection each day, you're automatically putting yourself into that energy so simply. It's such a simple way to do it. So tune into yesterday so you can grab those gratitude prompts and reflection prompts. They're pretty simple, but simple is key because we also talked about micro goals yesterday, and that is just so important because what happens is the year starts and we set these huge macro goals, these giant goals that we're foreseeing December, right? And then we don't set up those micros, those micro steps, those daily celebrations. You should be going to bed each night celebrating yourself. That's what you deserve, period. You should be celebrating yourself every night when you go to sleep. So that's what the micro goals set us up for. And that's what we talked about yesterday because the internal alignment needs to be prioritized. Like we said yesterday, if you try to do all of the tangible things, make all the money, live the dream job, dream travel, all the tangible stuff before fixing what's going on internally, you have all this mess happening that you're just pushing down and trying to compensate by putting physical things, by putting shopping, like whatever your toxic. I always say toxic trait. You're not toxic. You're a beautiful human. It's all part of the growth. We also talked about that yesterday, right? Like why do we struggle? Why do we go through these low points, right? But you're pushing it all down by trying to compensate, and then eventually it's gonna come up. And what happens when that comes up? We lose all of the tangible things that we tried to accumulate. We thought all of the money, all of the tangible, whatever it is that you think you need, we thought it would make up for the lack we experienced as a child, or um, the negative self belief that we have, or the negative self view, or the not being able to look at yourself. We thought that the money, the great career, the a million clients would make up for that, and it doesn't. So we push it all down, we push it all down, and then eventually that stuff has to come up, usually because it gets triggered by something, right? Maybe a relationship triggers it, or a big lesson, or something crazy happens because you're sitting here and you're saying to the universe, yeah, I'm manifesting this bigger, better life for myself. Can I please have this bigger, better life? And the universe says, okay, sure, but we have to get rid of all of this stuff because it's taking up so much space. So it's gonna come up and it's gonna leave. It eventually has to come out and come to the surface. And this is what happens. People work through stuff. You work through it, and it comes up to the surface so that it can leave your body, it can leave your existence. And it gets to like right here, and then it gets too hard. So we push it back down. And that happens over and over again. And you'd be surprised how many people start these self love journeys or start these any journey of like self fulfillment or a spiritual journey or starting a new career, and they get to a certain point and then they just stop, they quit because it's too hard, because we have to work through challenging stuff in order to get to the good part, right? Like life, the roller coaster of life, it's never just going to be a plateau. There's going to be highs and lows, but that polarity is what creates the amazing life we have. And we can't have good days without bad days. They need each other, right? Like as a human being, you crave that balance. So when you're having a bad day, you can just remind yourself, okay, this bad day creates the polarity that allows me to have a good day, right? We can't have one without the other, because then if every single day is good, I talked about this on the podcast once, I used coffee as an example. If every single day you got your coffee, it was perfect. Eventually, hi people joining on TikTok. Eventually it is boring and predictable, and then that good coffee that was once great now is just boring. If every single day is perfect, then the good does not exist, because perfect just becomes bland. It becomes baseline. It becomes nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need those good days and bad days to create a polarity, to create balance. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So as you're going through the hard stuff, my point in saying all this, and this is just more of a recap from yesterday and diving deep from yesterday, because yesterday was all about that internal. Go tune into the podcast. If you're just hopping on, you can go onto the podcast on my profile. I think I'm pointing in the right place, right? Like I see it up there. I know on Instagram it's up there. TikTok, I don't know. There's a lot going on, but go to my profile or just go and search it directly wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's called Perspective with Kaylee Phillips. And you can access that replay from yesterday where we talked all about the internal. Thank you. On Instagram. Thank you. Yeah, we talked all about the internal stuff yesterday. So go tune into that replay. It was really incredible. And just remember that whatever it is that you're going through right now, you're meant to be, because it's going to create a polarity, it's going to create a lesson, and all of those negative things that are building up, they're going to be released, they're going to come out, they're going to eventually go away from your existence, but they need to be worked through. And if you feel like everything's right here right now, like it's being built up and it's just sitting right here, you have a choice. You can either push it down and say, okay, I can't handle this, I can't handle this healing, I'm going back to my old 9 to 5 because it's easier. I can't handle this healing, I'm going to stop with the daily practices because it's obviously not working, right? Everything's getting worse, so it's obviously not working. That's where most people quit. But if you can just keep going a little while longer, it will be released. And this is the part that creates that polarity. And the I hate to say it sometimes, but the harder that your experience is right now, the better it's going to be because that polarity is just stronger, that magnetism is stronger, and you as a person are growing so much more from it. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate the lows, appreciate the challenges. Thank you. And I am just proud of you for being here in the first place, whether you're listening on the podcast right now or you're here live or you're listening to this months later in a podcast binge. I am proud of you for being here. I'm proud of you for doing any amount of work. And remember, in the micro goals, we are proud of ourselves for making the bed, for getting up, for getting any ounce of movement, even if it was a 5-minute walk around the block. We're proud of it because it's progress, and we're proud of progress. We're not aiming for perfection. Perfection literally doesn't exist. So there's our little recap from yesterday. If you want to get into the full thing, get those gratitude and reflection prompts, head over to the replay. Um, and also, you can head over to the description where I gave you guys that coupon code to join the alignment circle for only $22. You can cancel anytime. You can think of it like a Netflix subscription or a gym membership where you can cancel it at any time that you want to. And it's a really, really awesome place to be. It's such a beautiful community, honestly. I am so in love with everyone in that community and the joy that is brought to the room. Everyone's like, imagine if you had a group of people where you all supported each other's goals at all times. Like, if you had, because sometimes your people in your life just don't get it. Like, your family members, your friends from like school, or your friends from work, or like your childhood friends, you're on this huge journey of self development and growth and self love and discovering your passion and getting into your spirituality and manifesting and eating healthy and like getting your life together. And then people in your personal life don't get it. Like, they don't relate to you like that. They're like, girl, what are you doing? Like, just get a regular job. Or like, why are you manifesting? Life is stupid, life is pointless. And that's just such low energy because we are a summation of the people we surround ourselves with. Like, the 5 people that you surround yourself with, that's the energy that you're attracting, and that's what's making up your consciousness. And you might not even realize it, but like, when you get into a relationship with someone who doesn't support your highest self and they start saying negative comments, you start thinking those things subconsciously, or you start saying them too. Like, things like life is stupid, life is pointless, the world sucks. You know, people just say these things and they are in your energy, and then you start to embody that. So imagine having a group of people that you could come to each day and be like, yes, I support you, and be like, guys, this is what I'm working on right now, this is my goal right now, can you support me in that? Or like, how can you help me achieve this? How can you hold me accountable today? And that's what the alignment circle is all about. So it's a really incredible atmosphere. I'm really proud of it. I'm honestly so obsessed with the community of people in there. If you want to head over to the podcast, so I know I keep saying it, but there's more people joining on TikTok. If you want to head over to the podcast, I'm recording it right now. You'll be able to catch this replay later, and you can get yesterday's replay as well. It's on there right now, and you can go get that coupon code to join the alignment circle for $22. Or you can just listen to yesterday's workshop for 222. I'm wearing this 222 necklace because 222 means so much to me. I talked all about it yesterday, so I'm not going to repeat myself again today. If you want to head over to the podcast and listen to that from yesterday. But we're going to get into today's topic because I said yesterday was all about the internal alignment, the mindset, the in here, in your mind, body, soul, and then now today we're talking about career, right? We're talking about passion pursuit. We're talking about what you're doing with your energy. Like, we fix the internal stuff and we work through that, or we at least identify what's wrong. You know, there's a difference between trying to fix yourself or just like identifying what the gaps are and accepting that. Hi, people on Instagram. So yeah, we're just now we're going to the next step of it, which is the external element. So that's what we're doing here. And I first want to talk about the habit building. So that's kind of what I started talking about with the alignment circle. When we're building our habits, it's really important to have a full cup as you're doing so, right? Because I don't know if you've heard the phrase having a full cup, like a full cup of energy, or like you can think of it like a cup of coffee or whatever it is for you that works in your visual brain. But the analogy of having a full cup is like having a full battery. And I think often in the phases of burnout, whether you're a student or you're burnt out from your job, whatever you're burnt out from, you can be burnt out from a relationship. There's a lot of things that can burn you out, but whatever it is that's burning you out, um, it's because you're not operating on a full cup. You're operating on a half full cup or an empty cup each day, which basically means operating with that like muted energy. You don't have anything extra to give because you're giving all your energy to other people. You're giving your energy to the job. You're giving your energy to these toxic environments or unfulfilling environments, and you're not letting anything fill your cup. So it's so important as we're setting these new habits up and we're setting our new goals that we are prioritizing filling our cup. And there's a special way to do that that I like to talk about. So obviously, it's important that your cup is full, but it can also be full with toxic ingredients. So that's what we're going to talk about first. So there's the version of your cup that has the toxic habits and fulfillment. So basically, what I like to say for like the visual here is if your cup is full of liquid only. So like let's use I always use coffee. If you tune into the podcast, you know that I love to use coffee as examples for stuff, but let's just imagine that you have a cup full of black coffee. You can think of the coffee or whatever liquid you're using. We're going to keep using the coffee, but if you don't like coffee, just change it up in your own head. So imagine you have this full cup of black coffee. That is your fulfillment, or maybe even some milk in there, whatever liquids it is that gives it actual volume in your cup. That is your fulfillment. Then we have the habits. So this you can think of as your ingredients and like the actual things that give it some um balance. So it's not just plain black coffee, right? Like the syrups, the sugars, the ice, cold foam, all those fun ingredients. So if we have this cup that has black coffee and some toxic ingredients or some things that don't belong in your coffee. What's something that doesn't belong in a coffee? I don't know, something ridiculous. Like, just something ridiculous that does not belong in that cup or something that's making it toxic, like, I don't know, poison or something. You can think of that as the toxic habits and the fulfillment. So we have the self love, but these toxic habits. For example, I think the biggest example that my clients always say is having like an addiction to a vape or a pen or something that they don't want to have anymore and they can't break that. So like they're doing all this work, but then this thing is still here. Or maybe it's hitting snooze. That's another one my clients say a lot. Like they're doing all this work, they're manifesting, they're trying, and then there's just this one thing where they can't wake up early in the morning, so it's kind of delaying. That's like a toxic habit that's kind of interrupting your fulfillment. And like you're doing the work, you love yourself, you're trying, but this toxic element is just sprinkled in here, so it's making it a lot harder. So this is that place of frustration where you're not seeing results and you're running in circles because the habits don't support the goals. So you're showing up as inauthentic, you're not showing up as your true self, and you're not giving yourself the fulfillment that you deserve because of this toxic habit that's just getting in the way. So it's important to remove the toxic habits from our cup, right? So now let's look at a different situation where we have this cup and there's no coffee in it at all. There's no liquid, but we put the ingredients. So we put the ice, maybe we put a little bit of sugar and like syrup, but there's no liquid. That's like a little bit ridiculous, right? But that's what we're looking at right now in this situation. So this is a place of having the healthy habits, right? Because our ingredients are represented by the habits and then the liquid is our self-love. I want to clarify that because I feel like on the podcast, I'm moving my arms a lot right now. So I'm doing a lot of visual stuff. But if you're listening on the podcast, you might be a little confused. So just remember that the liquid here is our self love and our fulfillment. And then the ingredients like the ice and the sugar and the sweetener and the milk and the syrup, whatever else, those are our habits. So the habits are the ingredients, and then the liquid itself is the self love. We need the self love and the healthy habits in order to have a consistent routine and an aligned, energetic approach to whatever your goal is, whether it's your dream career, your dream lifestyle, a relationship, whatever it is. We need to have those things together. So if you're in this place of having the cup that's only the ingredients and no coffee at all, which is so ridiculous, if you're in that place, this is a place of doing the thing, but you're not setting an intention with it, or you're not fulfilling yourself, and it becomes not sustainable, right? So you're not able to show up for yourself or for others because we don't have that self-love aspect. So if you're someone who like you're doing the thing, like you're going to the gym, you're waking up early, you're working every day, you're not taking that midday nap anymore, you've cut out coffee. Oh my God, hi Claire. Hi. I haven't talked to you in too long. Can we have a FaceTime after this? I miss you. I hope you're doing great. But yeah, if you're in this place of doing the things, you're doing all the things, but you're not actually loving yourself during it, you're not letting yourself be fulfilled during it, and you're not forgiving yourself, like we talked about in the beginning of the life, like you're not working through all of the challenges, working through all of the doubts, and you're just doing the things. So sure, from the outside perspective, when you're making your daily vlogs or whatever it is you're up to and you're showing us your life, we from the outside are like, yeah, she's killing it. She's doing great. She wakes up early every day. She drinks her greens. She goes to the gym. She's working on her business. But if you're not actually loving yourself during the process, you're not giving yourself fulfillment, you're not giving yourself breaks, maybe, whatever it is to give you that internal fulfillment, then we just have a cup of coffee that has no actual coffee in it, just the ingredients. And that is not a full picture approach to your healthy habits. So we have those two examples, just the black coffee with some toxic shit that does not belong in it, or we have the habits that are there, but there's no coffee to actually give us some volume. Then we have this last example where you have the healthy habits and the fulfillment. This is the balance, the healthy place to be. You're able to pour for other people. And I've done a visual of this before. I think it's on my TikTok somewhere where I did a visual of showing like pouring the cup and then pouring for others, and how sometimes during the day you have to stop, take a step back, and refill your cup. So if you find yourself like halfway through the workday feeling really burnt out and feeling like you can't show up for other people and you can't keep showing up for your job, or like having conversations is draining, it should be okay for you to take a step back and go fill your cup. And then that's the aspect of it. We have to figure out what actually allows you to fill your cup. Like, what are the things that fill your cup? Because for me, my cup can get filled by a 10-minute power nap. I also talked about that on one of the podcast episodes. I talked about what was I gonna say? I just completely blanked on what I was gonna say. Um, Building the habits, guys. I don't know. This happens so often. I don't know what I was gonna say right now. But anyway, as you're building these habits, oh right, what's gonna fill your cup? My cup can get filled by a power nap, and this light keeps turning off. This happened yesterday too. My power nap can literally bring me back for a great successful day, but for someone else a power nap can make them feel worse. And also for me, playing with my dog can give me a full energy to come back with a full cup, but for someone else that can be even more draining, right? So you have to find the things that make you feel fulfilled during the day. You know what I'm saying? You have to find the things that fill your cup back up so that you can go have those conversations, you can go back to your workday and not feel so overwhelmed. And the problem with the burnout is that you keep pushing through even though your mind and body are telling you take a freaking break, take a step away, go do something for yourself, get yourself a little coffee treat, go take a nap, eat something. Go hang out with someone who doesn't drain your energy. It's okay for someone to drain your energy. It's okay to not want to talk with a certain person. Like, it's okay. It's valid. So, yeah, with this habits example, we have the toxic habits and the full cup. So you love yourself, you're trying your best, but there's these toxic habits that need to be removed because they're holding you back. Or we have all the healthy habits, you're doing the thing, but you're not loving yourself during the process. So you're just holding yourself back again. And then we have the perfect world where you have the healthy habits and you're loving yourself, you're forgiving yourself. So that's the dream place that we want to be. And the way we need to get there is figure out what habits and what daily actions can refill your cup. Allow yourself to take a step back and refill your cup even if you're in the middle of something. That's the problem. Like, this hustle culture makes you think that you can't take a step back, you can't take a break. And I also did a podcast. I keep referencing the podcast episodes, but we talk about these things in such depth. I did a podcast episode responding to a client's voice message where she was saying she feels like she's always running out of time working towards her goals, and you're literally not running out of time. And there's so many reasons to back that, but my biggest one is if you're living in the present moment, you can never feel like you're running out of time because you're in the moment. And it doesn't matter if it's ending because you're here right now. You're focused on the right now. You're focused on today. You're focused on what makes you happy. Do you have a full cup right now? Are you happy with your goals right now? Are you happy with how you're spending each day? And that's it, point blank, period. So if you're in that full present moment and you're fully committed to being in the now, then there's no way you could be thinking about, am I gonna be successful in 5 years? Am I gonna do enough this year? Am I working hard enough? And am I gonna end this week and feel like I didn't achieve enough or check enough off my to-do list? It's impossible because you're in the present moment. So that's our goal with all of these conversations. If you're just jumping in, remember you can go and listen to the replay of this on the podcast. I will upload it almost immediately after this at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're just jumping in and you want to catch up, yesterday's event is already on the podcast and today's will be available soon. So that's our habit conversation. And what I would want you to do is try implementing those daily habits into a daily routine. And of course, this goes hand in hand with what we talked about yesterday, which was me giving you that gratitude journal prompt and reflection journal prompt. So if you want to go grab those from yesterday's workshop, it was really, really great. But anyway, I want you to try to implement some new habits into your daily life that are micro, like we talked about yesterday. I'm not saying you have to do anything crazy like going to the gym for 2 hours every day or going twice a day, because then you get overwhelmed and overworked and burnt out. But something each day in each of these four categories that I'm going to give you. So we have four main categories: nourish, energize, pamper, and rest. I believe that if you have one thing completed in each of these categories each day, you are golden and you will start to feel better each day. So the first one is nourish. Nourish is literally like nourishing your physical body, right? Because today we're talking about the external. So when you're looking at your physical vessel here, are you doing at least one thing today to nourish your physical body? Some examples of this is like a meal that was home cooked and like very intentionally prepared. Sometimes it's too much to say I'm going to cook every single meal at home, but if you had one meal that was really intentionally prepared, or you drink some lemon water, or you treat yourself to a favorite snack, or you made your favorite iced coffee, or you went and got your favorite iced coffee, or you made a greens, you made a smoothie, you had a nice filling dinner with friends, you had your vitamins, took your supplements, maybe you had three balanced meals, something to nourish your physical body. By putting something into it. If you do one thing in that category, and this is all I'm saying, one thing, literally one thing in the nourish category, that's a check. Then we have our pamper category. So this is pampering your physical self. I think this often comes up like on your face or on your muscles, like a face mask, a hair wash day. That's a good one too. Doing a really good everything shower. For my girlies who just need like that full reset, that's a really good one for a pamper. Doing your hair and makeup, sometimes like getting ready can make you feel so much better. Booking a nail or a hair appointment, or going to a nail or hair appointment. Booking a massage, exfoliating, dipping your face in ice water. I think that's a really good one if you're in a rush. You're like, okay, I need to get my pamper in for the day. Bucket of ice water, or like a bowl. It doesn't have to be a whole bucket, but like a bowl of ice water, dip your face in. That's a really good reset and nourishment for your body. One thing there, check. So we nourished ourselves, we pampered ourselves. Now our third category is energize. Something to energize your physical body. This is your workout, moving your body. Like I said earlier, it could literally be a 5-minute walk around the block. Dancing, going out dancing, dancing around your apartment or dancing around your house, going somewhere fun, some type of like stimulation by like seeing a new experience, seeing a new environment, starting a new project. This is for my business owners if you're working on something exciting, and this doesn't mean like working on your bookkeeping or like doing your regular client work, but starting something new or working on a passion project to give you that stimulation and energetic fulfillment internally. Um, Working out, like I said, going for a walk or doing a really good stretch. I think that's one if you're like in a hurry or like you have to just get something quickly in. Do a quick 5-minute stretch. There's so many 5-minute stretches on YouTube, or you can just lead yourself in a quick stretch that feels good for your body. Check. That's our three categories. And so far, literally all you had to do so far is drink lemon water, dip your face in ice for 30 seconds, and walk around the block for 5 minutes. That is so simple, but I promise that is already so much more helpful than just going through the motions and going through each phase of the day. Like, that's still walking, like we talked about in the beginning, where like you're burnt out and you have no energy and no fulfillment. You're just getting through the day to get to tomorrow. Or the opposite, burning yourself out, doing the most, doing absolutely everything without the intention behind it. Then our fourth category is rest, of course. Sleeping in or going to sleep early, chilling, like just like relaxing on the couch and letting yourself watch TV. But this is an important note here. If that's the one you're choosing, you can't be chilling and watching TV or binging your favorite show and also thinking about the work, because that is counterproductive. Like if you're resting, technically, like if I looked at you, you look like you're taking a nap or you're taking a chill moment, but in your head you're thinking about your to-do list, you're thinking about what you have to do next. That's a big no-no. So if you're going to do that one, it has to be really intentional and you have to be able to actually log off mentally. Um Binge a favorite TV show or just watch an episode of a favorite TV show, have some alone time. I think that's a really good one for rest. Like when I was talking about getting overstimulated by conversation and noise and people at work, just having some alone time, even if it's 30 minutes by yourself. Meditate, listen to a podcast, journal, manifest, like just take a moment with yourself. So that's our four categories. And I feel like you guys are really getting it. So we have the four, and you just check off one thing on each, and that's it. That's literally it. All you had to do so far is drink lemon water, wash your hair, go for a walk around the block, and journal for 5 minutes. That literally is like 10 minutes of your guys' day. And it's so helpful. It's so much going on that is simple micro actions, and it can completely change around the day that you're having and change around the life that you're having. You know what I'm saying? So that's my challenge for you guys. Again, tune in yesterday to get the gratitude and reflection challenge because it kind of goes hand in hand with it if you can make it like a full day routine and then complete one thing in each of those categories. And remember also, okay, sorry. Remember also we have these four categories, but you can put anything you want into those categories. Like it doesn't have to be something that I said. You can create your own with everything I said. Like if you thought of your own thing with how you can pamper yourself or a different way that you can nourish yourself. Again, those four categories are nourish, pamper, energize, and rest. If you can complete one thing in each of those categories, you are freaking golden. So that's our habit building. Now we're going to talk about the actual alignment method here, which is the career development aspect of everything. And if you came here in the beginning, I don't think it's still there, but if you came in the beginning, there was a poll asking what you're manifesting right now. If you're manifesting your dream relationship, your dream job, I think it was feeling better about yourself and a dream traveling, like dream vacations. And honestly, even though we're talking about pursuing your passion and pursuing your career, it all goes hand in hand because you'll notice you have these like pillars of your life, like their finances, the travel, the family, the general self-love and happiness. And these pillars need each other to balance out. Like we said in the beginning, if you just have all the money but zero self-love, you're not in a balanced state. So it's important to prioritize all of the different pieces. And remember that whatever you're manifesting, whether it's the relationship, the dream partner, the dream job, we have that aspect, but it's important that your dream job fuels that and you're still giving focus to everything. I think we have a tendency to like hyperfixate on one category of our life and then let the other ones fall short and let our focus fall away from it. And that's just not the healthiest approach, you know? So it's important to give your energy to all the different elements and keep yourself well rounded internally and externally. So we're going to talk a bit about the alignment method here. Now, the alignment method is something I use in all of my programs. If you guys were in the alignment circle conversation we were having yesterday, we use that method in our workshops. We use it in our group chat, in the goal setting element, and everything. So we're going to start talking through that and get through the flow of it a little bit. But remember, like I said earlier, it is important to give your attention to all of the different elements, right? So we're going to start with the vision. And remember also, like we said yesterday, it all starts with your intuition. It all has to be intuitive. It all has to lead with your mind and yourself because something that works for me and something that works for my client doesn't always work for you. So we're going to go through vision, action, intuition, mission, and passion. And then inside of all of those, we're going to get even deeper. So let's start with the vision here. Your vision is the vision statement basically for your business. Like it's the overarching feeling of like empowerment and the impact that you're making. And it's about that like inspiration element and just the bigger picture of what you're up to, right? So as a vision statement, this might be to inspire people or to make an impact or to help people fulfill their greatest desires or to light people's souls on fire. But this has to be constant and consistent. So, whatever different avenue you decide to go on, if you decide to pivot, you decide to change your direction in your business, you decide to change your ideal client, you make audits to your product, the vision is still the same because it's about your impact that you're making. And at the end of the day, it's about your values. So, that vision that you have is coming from your intuitive impact. So when you think to yourself, what impact do I want to make on the world? What does that look like for you? That is something I would love for you to journal on as you're listening to this or watching this. Then there's the mission part of it. So the mission statement is more specific. It's the how. So we have the vision. Then once we have that vision, it's like, okay, how are we going to pursue this? And that's how we create our mission statement. So this is the work that you're doing, who you're doing it for. And then there's the passion. So I literally bet anything right now that you have some type of passion that could be turned into a business model because that's what we do here in this online space. We take what we're passionate about, we take what we're good at, and then we turn it into a career. How freaking cool is that? Like, I swear you don't need a degree for it. You don't need anything like there's no like certificate of like sure go ahead you can be a social media manager. Like you can literally just whip out your phone and start doing it right now if you wanted to, if you felt passionate about it, if you felt called to it. And that's how cool this online space is. And that's why my passion, like I started the workshop with yesterday, my passion is fueled by you guys being passionate. The more that you guys show up and say I have this idea, I have this vision, I have this thing I want to pursue, and then I can come back and help you pursue that and we find the alignment together, that cycle is just so exciting to me and it boosts me up more and more every day, honestly. So when you find your passion, and it has to be intentional and it takes some time. Sometimes you're like, I know my passion, I was born with my passion. Sometimes it takes a longer time of our life to actually figure out where our passion lives. But whatever it is, it can also depend on your human design and your astrological chart, and your Enneagram. So I would recommend, if you don't already have it, go figure out what your human design looks like, figure out your human design type, figure out your big three in your sign, and figure out your Enneagram. I like the Enneagram because it's the one where you take the test, and it's not like, you put in your birth information and then that's your answer. That's what your astrology is going to be, and that's what your human design is going to be. But the Enneagram is a test that you can actually do yourself, which I think is really cool. So go do those three, look at what it tells you, and sometimes it will give you some guidance on what your career could be and what your dream, like, best self is pursuing. So with those three elements, do some journaling on it after we talked through it here a little bit. Think about if you have a vision, if you have something that you intuitively want to make an impact on with the world. And we're going to talk more about this when we get into the ikigai. I promise. I'm just giving you an overview right now. Um, think about your mission, how you would do it, if you've ever had a calling to do something specific, whether it's a product or a service. And then what is your passion? And these pieces don't have to make sense together right now, but they will make sense together soon. But then we have our action. So this is the next piece of it. And this is the strategy, the investments, the goal setting and achieving, the projecting, and actually doing the thing, which is everything we've been talking about so far. And that's why I really want to emphasize to you guys that doing the internal work, doing the habit building, and taking action each day is just as important, if not more important, than creating the like tangible aspects of it. Because when you're growing as a person, then your business grows, especially when your business is an extension of you. So in that respect, remember that your intuition leads all of these things. And then yesterday we talked about the mind, body, spirit, energy. So that really is what pulls us all together. And you can see this visual if you were to join the alignment circle, which you can go to the description in the podcast and join for only $22. You can cancel anytime. It's an incredible community. We're talking in there every day about our goals, we're achieving, our habit building, we're sending pictures for accountability, and we have monthly workshops where you guys can ask me any questions. And it's not only like this where it's live and you're listening, but we can have literal one-on-one moments during these workshops where you can come on and ask me questions about your business, about what you're manifesting, about mindset stuff, and we can talk directly right there at that workshop. And the community is just so amazing. Like, everyone in there is so lovely. So if you want to see that visual I just talked through and actually work through it hand in hand with me, and we have lots of journal prompts that go inside of it and ways to activate it even deeper, join the alignment circle in the podcast description, from yesterday's replay or from today's when it's posted, and you can use that link and the code that is listed right there. The code is 222align, and you can join for only $22, and see what that looks like. So once we have this figured out, we want to go into our ikigai. And the ikigai is a Japanese concept for passion fulfillment, purpose fulfillment, and career development. And I think it's really cool because it starts with these four main categories that you guys could literally start writing about right now and figuring out what you want to do with it. So it starts out with, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What are some things that you are good at as a person? Like, and these could be things that you would put on a job application, sure, but also just things that you think internally. Like, I'm a really good listener, or I'm really good at helping my friends with like advice. And then the next part of it is, what do you love? So we have, what are your strengths, and then what do you love? And you can just make like big lists of what your strengths are and what you love. And remember, you don't have to connect them right now. It's just to reflect and think about these things in your own respect. And then the third category is, what does the world need? So this is that part where we were talking about before, where what do you believe the world needs? What impact do you think needs to be made? And then the last category is, what can you be paid for? So this is where we have to keep an open mind, because you can be paid for literally anything, product or service wise. There's no limitations. There's no like, oh, I could do that, but just make the list and see what comes up for you. And now we have this beautiful list of the things you're good at, the things you love, the things you think the world needs, and the ways that you can make money. And when these pieces come together, they create this full picture where you could go through these lists. And again, if you want to see this visual, I mean, you could Google ikigai right now and it'll come up. But if you want to see this visual that I'm looking at here, it's in the alignment circle. And it's like a really nice little, it's like a triple Venn diagram, I guess you could call it, because there's like lots of overlapping circles. It's just a lovely diagram where it creates these overlapping pieces, and all of those pieces come together to create your alignment and to create your aligned passion. So if you want to see this and you want to see the journal prompts that go along with it, pop into the alignment circle using the link. And yeah, it's just really important that you're creating something based on the combination of these categories. Because, like, if you're only doing something that you're good at, then you're not really loving what you're up to, you know? And if you're only doing something that you love that you're not really good at, then that's more of a hobby and it's not something that's sustainable to grow on. So your passion is what you love and what you're good at together. And then your mission is what you love and what the world needs together. And then you have your vocation, which is what makes you money and makes that impact on the world. And then we have your profession, which is what makes you money and it's what you're good at. And when you see this visual, it'll all come together. And again, you can literally Google ikigai right now and you can see it. But it's a really beautiful combination of you being your best self, you showing up as the best version of you and making money for it. That's the end. That's like the bottom line. Like you get to make money for it and feel fulfilled by it. And that is such a wonderful feeling, you know? So that's our ikigai. That's our alignment method. If you want to dig deeper into this with me, I would love to have you in the alignment circle. It's such an incredible place to be. And honestly, if I were to leave you with one thing, I would say make sure you go look up your human design and look up your Enneagram. Take that Enneagram test. It's a longer test, but I definitely recommend taking it because you can get so much clarity from it. And it's so helpful to just know more about yourself and know what you're dealing with and know what makes you you. And I use those pieces so intently and so deeply when I'm working with my clients to help them find this path and pave this path for them. And I think if you're not looking that stuff up and not learning that stuff about yourself, you're missing out on so much clarity and so much understanding of who you are and what makes you you. So I highly recommend going and looking up your human design. And I recommend listening to yesterday's workshop so that you can get into the mind, body, spirit, energy aspect of everything, and then come into today's to talk about the passion and stuff. If you want to listen to it again, or if you want to get deeper into it, it will be available on the podcast. And I'm so grateful for all of you for being here. I'm going to log off on Instagram. I'm going to stay on TikTok for a moment. So bye Instagram, logging off. I'm going to stay on TikTok for a moment just while I gather myself. So if you're here, you can keep hanging out. But yeah, I'm so grateful for all of you guys, and I think it was so funny that that video blew up of me talking about college and dropping out of college because it's so funny too how when a video blows up on TikTok, sometimes people will talk about you as if you don't exist or like as if you're not there. Like they'll say she. They're like she should have made a better choice. Like she should have picked a better college. I'm like I'm right here. I read every single comment. So it's really funny how people could just make so many assumptions. And also, like, if you look at my profile for 3 seconds, you can see that I dropped out of college. It's one of my pinned videos that I believe in manifestation and that I have a little bit of a sarcastic sense of humor. So if you saw that video, I know people can be so mean. Oh, hi Marley, I didn't realize you were here. Um, yeah, it's so funny how mean people can be. They're like, maybe you should have chose a better major. Maybe you should be more financially conscious. I'm like, this was a joke. This was a joke. If you would have read for like 2 more seconds, you would have seen that I was being sarcastic and I was joking. I did not accumulate 100K in debt from college. But that being said, it is a very real thing that happens. Like people leave high school and then right away go into college because that's what you think you're supposed to do. It's what you think you have to do because that's what everyone else is doing. And the risk of being judged, the risk of someone thinking, oh wow, she didn't go to college, she has no career, she has no direction, wow, she's not going to have a degree. That fear, especially at such a young age when you're 18 years old, you're a ripe adult, you're still a kid basically. I know at that time I was still a kid mentally. To make a big choice to not go to college when it's so normalized to just go first thing after high school, that's like way too much for a kid to make. So then you just go because you're like, yeah, this is what everyone else is doing. What's your major? I don't know. It's undecided. What's your goals? I don't know. I have no idea what I want to do. My frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet, but I'm going to go to college and put myself into insane amounts of debt, take out all of these loans because that's just what I think I'm supposed to do. And there's a lot of issues with it. I mean, there's like the system itself is corrupt. The fact that um, people get degrees and then that degree can't get them a job is just so ridiculous too. And that's another thing people were talking about in the comments that I do agree with. Like anyone who has a degree and gets to that point should be able to get a job. It shouldn't be so difficult. It shouldn't be like, okay, I graduated, now I don't know what to do. Like that shouldn't be a situation. So that's just ridiculous in itself. But yeah, dropping out was probably the hardest decision I ever had to make. And sometimes, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It was really hard, honestly. Like, it was overwhelming, first of all, because of all the judgment. And I I like at the time I really cared about what people thought of me. Um, and I sent out a Google form to like all of my friends and like random family members, my high school friends, and I gave like a whole quiz on Google Forms. This is so my personality. This is my Virgo rising coming through, and my like very like perfectionist aspects of everything, but also the Sagittarius sun in me was the adventurer that was like, yes, we're dropping out, we're doing the thing, we're making our own path. But the Virgo in me just had to make a poll and make a questionnaire for all my friends to see if I got their validation. And a lot of people said no. A lot of people were like, don't drop out, don't leave school. This is a stupid decision. I don't know what this little business is, but it's not sustainable. Like it's just social media. It could end at any time. And I guess that could be true in some elements, but the safety of staying in school because just in case this doesn't work out versus the exciting risk of leaving school because the positive what if, like why not switch it to a positive what if it all works out for me, that was so much more exciting because then like sure sometimes I wonder like what would have happened if I just stayed in school, what would have happened if I just like graduated because I would have been graduating this month right now or in like 2 months I would have been graduating. And I think about that so often because it's like what if I didn't build this business, what if I dropped it because I was in the middle of a failed launch when I decided to drop out of school, which is a little bit funny, but like everything was kind of flopping because I couldn't focus on my business. So it's not like I was on this massive high and like all the money was rolling in. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to drop out because it's so clear that it's going to work out. I was literally in the middle of a flop. And I was like, ooh, okay. Why am I flopping? And then I came to the consensus that I was flopping because I wasn't giving my full attention to it. And I'm the type of person who, if I'm going to go into something, I need to go all in or not in at all. So I was letting myself be a half-assed student and a half-assed business owner, which is just so not in keeping with my personality and how I operate. So in the middle of this flopped launch, which I remember the name of it, I remember everything about it so vividly. I left school and then I went to a completely new launch. I think it was like right around my birthday, which is end of November. And then right after that is when I completely took off. And that's when I hit six figures. And that's when I booked myself out with all dream one-on-one clients and started my group program, started my course, and everything just like catapulted into the next best place for me. And like I always say, like there's the balance. Like the low points create the high points. So if we're just at this coasting of everything's fine, and if since I dropped out everything has always been perfect, like that would also be a boring life. It has not been perfect. I've had low points, I've had highs, I've had lows, and that's what makes life great because we're not thinking about the end result. There's no end result anyway. Like it's not like there's going to be an end game of my business where I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's just silly. Like it's a constant ebb and flow. It's a constant work in progress and yeah, I mean, I've had low points since dropping out. I've had fears. And you know what? Last night I finally came to a conclusion of, okay, I made the right choice. And you know what it was? It was that I realized if I didn't drop out, I wouldn't have Mason. And that completely threw me to the point of, okay, it was the right choice. Everything had to work out this way because if that reality is so scary to me, that is like spooky. The thought that I could possibly not. There's a multiverse version of me out there who doesn't have Mason. I was like, oh, okay, I'm never questioning this again because it's true, and I'm not gonna pretend it's not true that people doubt. Even the biggest creators that you follow, even people with millions of followers, and it looks like their life is perfect, they have doubts, they have struggles, they have low points, they've had fears before, and there's been moments, I mean, I live in a very expensive city right now, and I've had moments of like, maybe I should have just stayed living at home. Oh, no. No, no, no. Because everything always goes as it's supposed to. Even if you look back and say, like, oh, I should have made this different choice. I should have done this thing differently. No, you shouldn't have because every single choice you make was in your intuitive guidance or was meant to teach you a lesson. It's all working out exactly as it's supposed to. All the pieces naturally always fall into place. If it's meant for you, you cannot miss it. And if it's not meant for you, you cannot mess it up. You can't accidentally go towards something, go into something that's not meant for you, and you can't accidentally miss something that was meant for you. No opportunity goes by because you're going to be in the right place at the right time. You're going to be there, you're going to be standing on the sidewalk at the moment that you see the car that reminds you of your old friend that makes you call them. Like it all is always working out. And if you think it's all coincidences, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a coincidence. I believe that everyone here today was meant to be here. I believe everything I'm saying is meant to be said because someone needs to hear it. And yeah, it all just works out as it's supposed to. And it's so funny that like Mason is the thing that got me to like really come back into that headspace last night, and now I'm saying it today. Like this, I literally ended the Instagram live. I mean, the podcast is still going. This is a little bonus podcast content, but I wouldn't have talked about this today if I didn't have that fear and that thought last night, and now someone here needs to hear it. I'm sure of that. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up today. I appreciate all of you so much that were here. Thank you so much. It was like all up and down throughout the whole time during the TikTok live, and I know I get overwhelmed by TikTok because there's so much stuff going on. There's so many buttons and things popping up. But I appreciate your patience with me if you're listening on the podcast, and sorry that I randomly pause talking because I'm flabbergasted by emojis and things happening on TikTok, but I'm so grateful for all of you, and I appreciate you coming to this event so very much. Make sure you use that coupon code in the podcast description to join us in the alignment circle if you want to see those resources visually. If you're a visual learner and you want to see everything that we're working on, you want to hop on workshop calls with me every single month and be in the room and ask me questions directly. You can show me your human design chart. We can talk through it together and we can look at all the magical things that make you who you are. I also have one-on-one spots open right now, so if you want to talk about one-on-one, please send me a message. Yeah, use that coupon code to join the alignment circle. And I'm so grateful for you guys for being here on this special day, my 222 day. I feel like it was a holiday because I celebrated my business anniversary, the 222 day, and magical alignment, all the amazing things. It really is a portal. 222, 2024. That is such a magical portal. So I hope you were present with yourself. I hope you were in a grounded place. I hope you did something fun yesterday and today. I hope you've done something that like fulfills you and gets you excited about life. And I'm proud of you. Like I said in the beginning, I'm so proud of you. Whether you were here for 3 minutes, whether all you did today was got out of bed and took a deep breath, I am proud of you for that because you're doing everything that you can. You're doing your micro goals, you're showing up for yourself, and I'm really proud of you. I'm so proud. Make sure you go grab those gratitude and reflection journal prompts from yesterday's event and plug into your ikigai today, plug into your alignment method today, and find yourself thriving in your passion, but enjoy the process of finding it. If you found your passion in 2 seconds after listening to this, that wouldn't be fun. The beautiful part is the journey. So I'm proud of you. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here again. Thank you for coming yesterday, and I'll talk to you guys next time. I'll definitely be doing more of these, so I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.